Hello and welcome back to another episode in a brand new season of More Than a Business Live. We have taken some time off over the summer to recalibrate and make sure that we are bringing the same heat to the table here as we interview business owners, executives, HR individuals that really are growing and living the truth of what business can be, where it becomes more than just revenue and profit. It does become more than a business. We can take care of people. And I had the opportunity to talk with our guest, which I'll introduce here in a little while ago. And even after our first 5 minutes of the conversation, there was just an immediate connection in the work that they are doing and impacting lives in different unique ways. So we'll definitely dive into that. But when I started this show, it was really intent to bring this opportunity to show how business can be done outside of maybe the old school way, and having more and more opportunities to really develop individuals within that. So I'm excited to continue to bring that to you over this next season, where we're showing every single week on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Central Time, a new guest, a new company, to really show how these individuals, the different initiatives, the impact, all the different things that they do that truly makes their business more than a business. So I'm incredibly excited about that. We're going to be bringing on some new sponsors here pretty soon too, but what I want to do at this point now is I want to go ahead and bring in our guest. But before I do that, I'll do a quick intro for Scott here. So Scott is the CEO over at Empowered Brands. I told him I'm not even going to pretend to name off all the different franchises that they do own, but they're a world-class franchise platform consisting of industry-leading commercial and residential brands serving homes and businesses across North America. So you want to talk about leading people from generation and East Coast to West Coast. There's going to be a lot of challenges, I'm sure, that Scott comes across in building these different franchisees and locations. According to their website, and Scott, you might have to give us a little more info on this, but they've done a little over $1 billion since I don't know if that's annually or since inception, but that is no joke. And to continue to have the opportunities to build a brand where their core values have nothing to do with make lots of money. It has so much to do with people. So we're going to dig into that with Scott. So without further ado, Scott, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mitch. Great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. I'm probably going to kick off some of the rust after taking about 3 months off so we could enjoy the summer with my 3 young kiddos. But I'm incredibly thankful that, one, you were willing to postpone to a little bit later date to come on as we kick off season 2, but even more so, excited to have you as the first guest on here. So real quickly, I always like to ask our guests, give us like high level what Scott does on a daily basis, because I know it's not the same thing every day, but give us a little bit of insight on what your day kind of looks like.
Great. Thanks, Mitch. Yeah, my day as CEO of Empower Brands, I'm responsible for the strategy, the culture, and essentially the best way I say it is putting the right folks in the right seats and get out of the way. So I spend the vast majority of my time helping to support the leadership team here, making sure that they have the resources they need to be successful in their role. And my job is to move obstacles out of the way. We do have we're updating a 5-year strategic plan. So I lead that and I make sure we're on track every week, every month, every year.
Easier said than done?
Yes, no doubt. Easy to say, but a lot of work goes into that.
I'm sure. Well, maybe go ahead and tell us a little bit about maybe like a positive impact story that you or Empowered has had on, whether that's maybe a client, a franchisee, a community member that might interest the individuals to kind of tuning in.
Yeah, I think this question really speaks to who we are and what we do as a franchisor. So the franchising industry, it's a unique one in that we change lives every day. That's what we do. It's the core of who we are. And what I mean by that is we're having folks join one of our 10 brands. We are onboarding them. We're training them. We're helping them launch a business. 95% plus of our franchisees have never owned a business before. So it's a leap of faith. They're investing in a lot of cases, their life savings And it's
Yeah.
our job to make sure that we give them the roadmap, the know-how, everything we can to increase the likelihood of success. So when you talk about changing lives and who have we impacted, we have 700 franchisees across these 10
Woo!
brands. So we are impacting their lives, their family lives, their families' lives, and the communities that they serve every day.
That is a lot of locations to handle. And I imagine, and maybe we can kind of dig into this a little bit, is trying to empower somebody to leave their comfortable salary paying job with benefits to go all in shows an immense amount of trust that has to be built between you and that individual to say, I am trusting you with my livelihood, my life savings, my family, my children, my spouse.
Yeah.
How do you go about building that trust to where they fully know that Empowered Brands, that Scott and everybody within Empowered Brands has the know-how and the true care to make sure that that person does succeed in the work that they do?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it starts on the front end. So, as a prospective for franchisee is exploring one of our brands to see if it's the right fit for them, that is a long process, 60 plus days of
Yeah.
time. So, we're getting to know them, they're getting to know us. And through that process, that's where our culture, the DNA of who we are, the values, and then the business itself, they learn deeply about that. It really starts on the front end, and then it culminates, and this is probably the most important part, with what we call Empower Day. They come to Richmond, Virginia, which is where we're based. They spend a day and a half with our team, and they
Mm,
learn more about the business, but most importantly, they learn about who we are, and they learn about the relationship that we might have together. And I think through this whole process, Empower Day, that's when they get to the point of this is for me. So
yeah.
it's a very important process they go through. It's a detailed one, and I think our experience, we have across the leadership team 250 plus years of experience in
Oh,
franchising. I've spent my whole career in franchising. We've been doing this a long time. There's a lot of track record and success
yeah.
behind us, and that helps a lot.
I would imagine so, just from a confidence perspective, knowing exactly what to do. But as an engineer myself, like I'm a very risk averse person, and I went and quit my W-2 job to go all in on my own business. And it took a long time. It took a lot of prayer and a lot of sitting and wondering if I'm doing the right thing, and even 3 years later, wondering if that's still the right thing at times. But having those individuals, I imagine from Empower, can really help those individuals see the end in sight and how they can be successful by betting on themselves. I once had a mentor that basically called me out and said, "I can't help you anymore until you're all in," and it almost kind of made me mad. Because I'm like, I'm working nights and weekends trying to get this thing up off the ground. I'm doing all this different stuff. But what he really meant was, you're not believing in yourself yet. So how can I potentially help you if you're not ready to believe in yourself? And hopefully that's kind of maybe what people are feeling as they go through Empower Day to
Yep.
see how that goes. Well, we only have a certain amount of minutes on this show, so we're going to keep the ball rolling here, Scott, and we're going to dive into what truly makes it more than a business. I know that you just kind of mentioned how you can truly impact lives on helping individuals, especially with 95% of them having never done or started their own business before. But let's talk about what truly makes it more than a business.
Yeah, and I think it really speaks to where we've come and where we've been. So we are 4 times the size we were 4 years ago. We have 170 of us on our team now.
Wow.
So making sure that the environment that this team works in, making sure that the value they bring for our franchisees in this case is always front and center, making sure that the values that we live by, that we work by every day, that's always front and center. That's what makes this a lot more than just what's the top line and what's the bottom line.
Yeah.
We've worked very, very hard to preserve the culture that is so important here. Even when we were smaller, it was easier, more difficult now as you scale and grow. But I'm incredibly proud of the culture we have because people stay here. They love what they do. There's purpose behind it. We have individuals that are been here for 10, 15 plus years now. They don't leave.
Amazing.
And that I think gets to the core of the question, Mitch, of it's really more than just the business itself. It's about where they get to come and work every day.
Yeah. All right. I've got several questions on this. So we're going to dive into some of this here. So did you say over the last 4 years, you've gone up to 170 individuals
On the team? Yeah.
On the team. So basically 4X. So you started around 40 and now you're up into how do you grow that fast, making sure people are in the right seats on the right team while still maintaining the culture that you want, to where I know you said it's more difficult. So maybe give us some things that you guys do that somebody can implement within their own business, but going from 40 to 170 over 4 years is a lot of faith in other team members to say, this is how we do things. And this is how I need you to carry that out. How are you accomplishing that with not pulling your hair out, or, I don't see any smoke in the background, so things are okay right now?
Yeah. So it starts with the interview process before they even join the team. It's a rigorous one, no matter what level in the organization this is for. So on average, they will probably meet with, when they're going through the interview process, a lot of folks, maybe 8 to 10 every time. So we really vet them, I guess, is probably the best way to say that. So it starts there. Yeah. Then we have a 90-day onboarding process for every new employee. So that gets into, on week 1, culture, purpose, mission, values. It's ingrained right from the start that this is who we are, and this is how you will be part of this family, the culture, and how we operate here. So I believe we've been able to do it, and we've been successful doing it because of the rigorous steps we take on the front end to ensure when somebody joins this organization, they understand what they're joining. And then we have not deviated from some of the social things we do here. We have a huddle every Friday. Every employee joins 1 half-hour call every week. And we talk about what's going on, what's working well, what's not. We remind them what the values are. So we keep it top of mind every week. We have a service day with all of our employees, whether they're spread out throughout the United States. There are service days we do to impact the communities that we serve here. So while we're large now and it's scaled, we try and operate even like we did 4 years ago.
I love that. I want to dive even and deeper into this. So you have Empowered Brands, and then you have 10 franchises that you guys, how do you, one, I guess, do each of those have their own type of culture? So do you have subcultures within Empowered Brands? And then if you do have different subcultures along those lines, how are you able to continue to show the brand, the culture that Empowered Brands has, down through each of those different types of franchises?
Yeah, so each brand does have their own persona.
Oh my gosh, man. That is wild.
Because many of them were acquired and integrated over
Okay.
these last 4 or 5 years. So we
Okay.
don't want to lose that. We want to preserve the history and what they've built.
Yeah.
But that is typically from the franchise brand franchisee to the customer, the end customer, where the culture that we have at Empower is typically geared to our customer, which is the franchisee.
Yes.
So there's really 2 levels there, but we certainly want to. There is overlap for sure. The values aren't that different, but again, we are not ones to mandate if a brand and a business, a successful business, has a thriving culture and the values are there. We are not going to come in and just change that.
Well, I just imagine having the game plan, the blueprint, everything along those lines to show exactly how you can do this and grow your business is obviously what you guys probably do best from a franchise perspective. So knowing that you have the playbook to absolutely implement something that can be a sticky culture that can help those businesses grow and 4X, if that's the case, that's fantastic. I want to, let's see here real quick. I've got a comment that came in from Justin Richards, and looks like maybe that they are sharing an identical culture over there. So what I will do now is we're going to kind of step into you. Justin, thanks for kind of tuning in, and we'll, if you have any more questions, we could be happy to kind of stick around and answer some of those as we go. But Scott, I kind of told you before we jumped on the call here, like it's not every day that we have 100% of ourselves to give, but oftentimes as a leader of an organization, it's our job to give 100% of what we do have. So what keeps you motivated? What wakes you up in the morning? How do you go into Empower Brands every single day to show up and serve your team and your clients?
Yeah, so as a founder, a former franchisee, and now leading this organization, I believe there's a higher responsibility. And it's my job to bring that every day, even if you don't feel like you want to, because people are depending on me. And, the servant leadership approach, when you believe that, and that's how you operate and that's how you lead, no matter how you feel each day, you have to come, in this case, to the office, and you have to serve. And I believe that's my job, is to support and serve this team and this organization. So it actually makes it really easy. It's a joy to do that. I really enjoy being in the mix, in the business. I try and get in the weeds as much as I can because I enjoy that. And it's the people. The value that we talk about most here is people first. Yes. And that's who we are. It's who I am, which makes this a lot of fun. It's easy to walk through the door every day. It's incredibly easy to work with this team. We love our franchisees, and it is not difficult to do each day.
Well, the thing that I heard in there the most, there are 2 things I'll kind of highlight. One, you just mentioned the people itself and just showing up for people that are needing you. So I oftentimes you hear about, sometimes you don't want to show up, but it's about showing up for the people that need you versus showing up for yourself in those situations. But also you mentioned getting into the weeds, which is what you like. Now, everybody has their own things that they do enjoy. The weeds is something that I do not enjoy. I prefer a good weed whacker when the weeds show up. So I need somebody to integrate those items for me on that side. But it was really interesting to me that one of the things that, helps you to show up is to do the things that really do bring you joy. And if getting in the weeds is the one thing that will trigger that joy for you, then I'm going to take that away from my end, because there are some days where it's just hard and you got to do these things, but it's just hard to hard to do it. So I appreciate that. I'll take that to heart myself. Justin, I want to let him know. So apparently Conserva is one of your 10 brands. So
Yeah.
Justin mentioned that they share an identical culture. So it is coming through and often. And he also just wanted to say that people over profits is the way to go. And Justin, I know I couldn't agree more. And it sounds like Scott has done a really good job at building something that gets all the way down to each of the franchises as well. So definitely appreciate you, Scott, for coming on, and Justin for tuning in as well. But we got about 9 more minutes here. We'll kind of wrap things up, Scott. But if anything that you talked about resonated with somebody, or they're interested in learning more about maybe some of the different franchise opportunities that could be out there for them, as somebody that has always thought about starting their own business but doesn't know where to start, what's the best way for them to reach out to you and maybe ask some of those questions?
Yeah, I can give you my email address directly to me. It's Zide. So Zide at Empower Franchising, ING at the end. Zide at empowerfranchising.com.
Awesome. And for anybody that can't remember that after listening to the video a couple times, reach out to me and I'll make sure to get you introduced to Scott as well. And Scott, as just showing our own appreciation for you coming on the show. I had told you before, my wife and I started this company, More Than a Meal. I'm really wanting to show individuals how we can help engage with employees and clients and community members in general. So part of our show for you coming on, we want to make sure that we reciprocate that to you and offer an opportunity to send a meal out to anybody that you would like, just whether they're deserving or need to be recognized for any reasons, or maybe going through a hard time in life and just could use a nice pick me up from that side of things. Do you have any ideas on anybody and why that might be the case?
Yeah, maybe on the deserving side of things. We talked about this growth and how fast we grew and trying to preserve the culture here and what that means. And it's been about a year and a half now. We brought a new vice president of HR on board, Heather Burns, and the job she has done to help us preserve what I talked about. And she has implemented people development through leadership programs. She is fostering the more than a business approach. So I think as it relates to this podcast and the work you're doing, Mitch, she is incredibly well deserving, because she and her team, they foster that every day here.
Wow. Well, I look forward to having the small piece of being able to help recognize that for her, and we'll get connected offline here to make sure we can get that out to her. But there's just something about those individuals that you get to work with at times that can take the craziness that you see in your own head and put it on paper or implement it throughout. And those people definitely deserve to be recognized with all the skill sets and talents that they do have. So we look forward to that. Scott, we're going to pretty much wrap it up at this point, but if there's any last things that you would like people to know about Empower Brands, events coming up, anything along those lines, words of wisdom or advice, I'll let you say that. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and kick us off and hit us with an outro.
Yeah, I think just real quick, if business ownership or entrepreneurship is something you want to look at, if franchising is something you would want to explore, we have 10 wonderful brands, growing brands, might be the right opportunity for you. Just go to Empower Brands online and you can learn all about our brands.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure to put a link in the comments on this show as well, just to direct them straight to your website so they don't have to work too hard for that. But Scott, again, man, I really do appreciate you coming on and talking to what truly does make Empower Brands more than a business, and definitely look forward to keeping up with you and the journey that you guys are going to go on over the next 4 years. Don't forget about me once you're flying over my house doing fun things. But what I do want to encourage each of the individuals that are tuning in now or later is the power of investing in your people can really take businesses from what they are in Forex over an amount of time that you could never even imagine. And Scott is somebody that has done that and can prove that it is definitely worthwhile on that. So Scott, thanks again for that. Definitely tune in next week as we bring on another leader and another brand to the More Than a Meal, More Than a Business live show every single Thursday at 3 p.m. And until next time, have a wonderful rest of your guys' week, and we'll see you next time.